Hello, this is an audio recording in which I am going to describe what V2k is, and I'm also going to describe another method that is very similar in effect to V2k. V2k is a steady tone that has subliminals spoken, and the spoken words are frequency modulated so that you can't hear them, so that they're masked by the steady tone which the conscious mind hears. The subliminals are embedded within the tone, which acts as a kind of a cloak hiding the words, and the sound also of the tone also serves to draw the listener's attention to it. This is basically the same principles of directing the conscious mind to a source, while hiding subliminal commands in or around that source. So the subject's conscious mind is aware of the sound of the source, while the subliminals are not heard by the conscious mind, but they go into the subconscious mind. They're spoken just below the level of conscious hearing. Right, there's another method of which is used as mind control. I'll explain a little bit about what needs to be done in this method. Mind control involves accessing parts of the mind that are not in the subject's conscious awareness. Things such as irrational fears, thoughts, feelings, psychosomatic illnesses, they all originate from the subconscious. The handler's, for want of a better word, the handler's goal is to plant through certain practical methods, as V2k, such practical methods which I will explain, ideas, feelings and thoughts in that part of the subject's mind without their conscious awareness. Bear with me. These techniques are a little involved. The subject is bombarded with, this is about mind control, the subject is bombarded with events and situations designed to traumatize them and get them off balance, to remove their equilibrium, inducing grief, shame, all the negative emotions. People who are suffering grief, mistrust, the lower emotions, not the welfare emotions, they're easier to program using subliminal techniques. A no-touch method of mind programming. Now, the words that I'm using here, programming and hypnotizing, are interchangeable. Programming means, in this instance, to hypnotize. To hypnotize, in this instance, means to program. So this particular method, the handlers will create an anchor. They need this anchor word or phrase. It could be anything, but doesn't have to be auditory. But for this instance, for this explanation, I will use auditory anchor because it's more in line, in keeping with this method, V2k. So a no-touch method of mind programming is to traumatize a subject through constant events and situations, so that the subject feels they don't have a safe place to go. Therefore, the subject may create in themselves a safe place to go, a kind of meditative dissociative state. It's not necessary, but it helps the hypnotists, the programmers. So the handlers, having achieved the constant trauma in the subject, they don't have to be near the person to do this. Let's create a lot of traumatic events in the victim's life. Now they want to create an anchor. An anchor in this instance will be a negative association the subject, to get the subject's attention, so that they'll find a word or a phrase that the subject has a negative connotation with. So it brings up painful associations. It could even be the subject's name, something to get the subject's attention. Sometimes several anchors are used. So they need this anchor so that even because it's a no-touch method, they can use it among background noise, or where a lot of stuff's going on, noise or busyness is going on. So it even within a situation with a lot of background noise, if this anchor is spoken in the middle of a conversation many times, the victim, the subjects, will hear it. So the anchor word serves to get the subject's attention. So, as I've said, this anchor has a strong personal connotation. The more traumatic the connotation to the anchor, the better for the program in the hypnosis. So firstly, the attention of the subject is got by the anchor. This is repeated over time, which is heard. The person hears the anchor. What's this? They know the anchor. They're open. They're listening at that point when they hear it. But what they don't know is that there's a subliminal suggestion or command overlaid onto the anchor word at the same time. This could be in the form of negative affirmations suggested to the subject. It could be in the form of a command. It could be something to further traumatise them and get the personality to dissociate. So you've got the anchor word said, the subject hears this, as in V2k, where the subject hears the tone, and you have the subliminal command overlaid or said alongside so that it overlaps the anchor word, which isn't really heard, it's said quieter. But it is heard by the subconscious mind. It's the subliminal command is always said by the same person, using the same pace, the same tone, and the same rhythm. A kind of sleepy tone, a kind of sleepy rhythm. So when the person hears the anchor word, this other word is overlaid but quieter. It's going into the subconscious. It's caught off guard. It just goes, the subconscious it just goes straight into the subconscious without any knowledge or questioning. Much like watching a TV advert. You think it's not going to affect you. I'm not affected by that. You watch it enough times, unconsciously. Hypnotism programming goes on all the time. So this is what I'm describing, a very practical method of V2k. A lot of people don't understand what V2k is. Right, so you've got this processing by the conscious mind that wants to reject it, but the command is spoken quietly. It's not, there's no time to consciously process the quieter command or suggestion that is over the anchor. It's said quietly and subtly, so it just slips in without any awareness of the subject. This is hypnosis. It is programming, and it can be done anywhere. It's a no-touch method. The subject is usually sensitised to the anchor word by repetition. So what we have with this method, it is a method of V2k. It uses the same principles. You have it's a combination of trauma, psychic driving, and hypnotism using subliminals. All these can be done in one fell swoop. It needs to be done frequently and often. And as I've said, because it is a no-touch method, and because the actual anchor word that is used, or anchor words that are used to get the subject's attention, they can be inserted into a normal conversation. For instance, the anchor word is chosen for this hypothetical subject, because it has a lot of negative associations. It has a lot of personal meaning to the subject. The anchor in this instance, this hypothetical instance, is the person was at hospital, somebody was dying, it was a very painful time for them. A lot of people around that time said, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. So the people targeting, the hypnotists, the programmers, this is a hypothetical instance, have ascertained that that phrase has strong associations and meanings to the subject that they want to program, hypnotise. So they choose this phrase, there's nothing we can do. They regularly, through various methods which are known to a lot of TIs, such as bugging, infiltration of haunts, regular haunts, things like that, they will ascertain the person, where they go, and the programmers, this is an hypothetical situation, it can work, they just turn up in regular places and they have just a normal conversation, but within that normal conversation, one of the handlers or the programmers will say, there was a lot of things on the news example, there was nothing they could do. Now, when there is nothing they could do, there is nothing we could do, and there may be other anchor words, such as, we've lost him, or something. We've lost him, we've lost it. Similar. After a while, when the person's sensitised to that, they can actually change it slightly and it will still get the subject's attention. So these are complete strangers doing this to the subject, and they're in a very busy place. It could be noisy, there could be a lot of background noise going, it doesn't matter. It could be on public transport, it could be in the street, it could be neighbours, it could be anything, but there's nothing that they could do. This phrase will be inserted in a conversation, and hypothetically this phrase will be inserted in a conversation, and meanwhile either played on a phone or some other device, or said by another person, another programmer, the actual commands or the subliminal messages they want to embed in the victim's subconscious mind will be said at the same time. So, for instance, these are a form of these are negative affirmations that they program this person with. Let's just say hypothetically, this is a situation where it's destructive. So, the victim is hearing this comment, "There's nothing we can do." At the same time is spoken, "You are feeling ill," or anything negative that they want the person to believe. "You are insane." "Nobody likes you." They're trying to induce some kind of paranoia or some sort of illness through this. This is hypothetical. They're not going to say something really like a positive affirmation if they're doing this. So this is another method of using the same principles of V2k, the trauma, the psychic driving, by saying the potential anchor over and over and over again in different situations by different people, and the subliminals which are overlaid onto the anchor. Okay, I hope you find this very interesting. There are a lot of when you look at the basic diagram of V2k and the patent for V2k, this is another way that V2k works, by having a tone which the person can hear, overlaid with subliminals which the person can't hear. So this is a different method, a different way of doing it. Also, these things can be mixed with music, so that while the person is consciously listening to the music, the person's song that they're listening to, subliminals can be added, mixed into the song in the background. This is very, very easy to do with even just a very basic computer. So again, that's another method of V2k. Okay, I hope you found it interesting. Thank you. Goodbye.